Next item is DCAA Board of Directors.
That was put on the agenda at my suggestion once again. I don't think that it's any real surprise to anyone that, once again, I ran on the idea that the ambulance authority was spending more money than necessary. This kind of ties back with the previous one also. I know that there are various opinions around the county about the two different services. I would like to see a cooperation and once again the cheapest cost for the service that we need. Now, I'm not sure that all of you know, I am on the Ambulance Authority Board of Directors as the County Commission representative. The meetings that I have attended have been contentious. And suggestions that I made or requests that I made were not, I would say, not well received. And it all goes back to the Board of Directors. The Board of Directors are individuals who, some were originally appointed, and I have strongly for some time disagreed with a lot of the practices. It has become, now when I was elected and started in January, I told myself that I will try and work with the individuals. And it has become increasingly evident to me that there's not been an effort to reciprocate. It's, once again, it's been contentious. So, my proposal, or I am going to move that all members of the current Board of Directors be dismissed, a letter be sent to them thanking them for their service, and that any county property that they have at the time be returned, and at some point in time we may appoint a new Board of Directors. It's my proposal. That's my I'm moving that be accepted.
Motion.
That's my motion.
Motion on the floor.
That's me.
I don't know. Can I allow him to speak before the motion is resolved? Counselor?
I think you have allowed others.
Okay. All right.
I understand your feelings, and I understand the hostility being that I got brought in after the fact of this agency being started. However, with that being said, Mr. Robinson, no disrespect, but every meeting you've come to, Mr. Sandor has attended also. So therefore, it's like the county commission is present, and the board feels like they're being attacked by the commission, because at one time, it was the other way around, and the other parties felt like they were being attacked by the commission, and now all we've done is flip the table. We flipped the table, and now the aggression, or whatever you want to put it, is now back on the other agency rather on the one it was with. I understand what you're saying as far as you feeling that, but like I said when we talked previously, I think that it would be more effective to actually sit and try to work with the board. And then if there's a few individuals where you can't get along with, or that they are, well, getting along is kind of a strong word, because you're supposed to not agree with everything everybody does, because if everybody agreed, it'd be a real messed up world. So I think it would be better, instead of disregarding the entire board, you know, maybe sit down on an individual basis with the board members, talk with them about their feelings, how they feel, and how the board can change to aggressively become better. As far as your request was made, I tried diligently to get you what you needed and tried to work with you on that. But the board itself, I think, totally disbanding the board would lead to total chaos in the organization, because the board itself governs. I do the operation, but they govern the organization. And I feel that, you know, you'd be setting yourself up for some issues on my part. Do I come to you guys every meeting with every issue that I have? Personnel issues, mechanic issues, all those are handled by the board. And to dissolve the board would do that. And then to wipe the board out and replace the board with new people that would fit more of the commission's agenda, I think would be just doing exactly what everybody's complaining about having in the beginning. So I think rather than doing that, I think a consultant would be good, like you said, bring them in and look at, and to take the time to talk to the board members and see if there's anything you can do to work with each board member to try to make it more of an effective board rather than just dismissing the whole board.
I think this is an outrageous decision, and I don't agree with it.
We have another comment.
Yes, I'd just like to comment based on what Mr. Flynn is saying, it's apparent that there were issues prior to the county commission we had in office at the time, and as he said, now the tables have turned. There's issues now that we have a different administration at the table here. So the way I would look at it then, based on what he's saying, is just there's still contention, it's just now it's flip-flopped. So my recommendation would be to dismiss the entire board, start fresh. And as the DCAA board was hired or brought in, I know they're volunteers, but brought in at the whim of the county commission, they are under the authority of the county commission. You certainly have every right to do that. So a good way to equalize things is to start neutral, start with a new board, and then that eliminates the prior administration and the current administration flip-flopping issues, as Mr. Flynn has said.
But you indicated there wasn't going to be another board.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I said at some point in time, and I don't have any problem renaming the board relatively quickly. And you know, my thought is, until a new board is in place, you as the manager would continue with the same policies and procedures, and until a new board is seated. And things aren't going to change until a new board looks at the policies and procedures and says, do we need to do this? And that would be a decision for the board.
But isn't it not the commission's position to run the organization that they own, such as the three commissioners sitting in, no disrespect, I like you all, but to come into our organization and say, what is your policy procedures? We approve this, we don't approve this, we want you to do this. Because a lot of the employees fall under your personal handbook. Your personnel handbook governs the employees of the agency. So therefore, in essence, you're in charge of the agency, not that board. You know, so if there's a problem with that, then why couldn't the commission come in and say, we need to set precedents and govern, and the policy and procedure manual needs to be updated to include the ambulance authority, which would govern the agency in the direction that you want to govern, rather than disbanding.
Tammy?
I've sat through these meetings, I've videotaped it, much like Randy's doing right now, with videotaping your all's meeting, but mine's been out in public. I have watched the contention. I have been part of the contention. I mean, Randy even had to call and apologize to me after one of the meetings for something that happened with one of the board members after a meeting was over. I think that I see that you guys are trying to put the best together for the county. And it's going to come to the point where it's not their board and their board, it's going to be the board. That you're going to have to be able to work together. And after sitting through those meetings up there that I don't attend unless there's other people with me, because I'm afraid to attend because of some of the stuff that has been said to me. I think it's time to get rid of the board and move on. And make something better.
Tammy, you're not afraid of anybody.
Hey, you have no clue what I've been through, Shirley.
Oh, okay.
And in the same direction, there's been a lot of public attack on the agency from yourself.
Well,
Therefore,
but I'm out in public.
Therefore, there's that,
I'm not face to face.
there's that conflict, right, and I'm trying to play neutral.
Well, that's
Because
all the more
I have
reason we like
apologized.
for a clean slate.
You know,
That's all the more
because
reason.
there is conflict between what happened in the past and what we have in the present. You know, and that's my big thing, you know, with the conflict, you gotta try to look at all angles and look at all aspects. That's why the person coming in that's neutral to look at this would be the best way. And that way they can decide, you know, this agency is working properly or it's not working properly, or, you know.
But they're
this
going to
would
be facing the same contention.
Exactly, just a clean slate. That seems a very reasonable approach. You know, you said yourself that there's problems. Now it's just the opposite. So there's still going to be problems, no matter what. So I would think that the best thing to do is start from scratch, new era, and that's the way it should be, and then move forward.
I disagree, because I think that it would definitely flip the charge to the point to where if the agenda of the commission is to shut down the ambulance authority, and that's basically what we're looking at. Is that
No,
the
not at all.
agenda? You know,
No.
if that's the agenda, then let's not play with the red tape. Let's just do it, get it over with,
No, right.
and go. But if the intention of the commission is to improve the ambulance in this area and the emergency services at a economical value that people can afford, then I'm all for it. And I think we should try to do that, because between the two agencies, if they, you know, with the transfers they do and us working together, you know, that's something I think should have been done in the beginning. However, I wasn't here in the beginning.
So
You
then
know,
what would be your objection from starting from scratch with a clean slate? Usually when there's management issues and things like that, the way to resolve it is to, you know, put it on neutral ground, and that would certainly do that.
well, no, that wouldn't put it on neutral ground, because the commission could appoint people that they feel has
Well,
their
that's what
best
they did
interest.
before, and it caused
and-
problems.
Exactly, so all you're
So
doing is
let's
just flipping
just
it,
start from
you're just
scratch.
causing more tension. You're not fixing the issue, you're just flipping it and bullying it and pushing it your way.
No,
That's all
we're
you're
putting
doing.
all the past hostilities and the past,
No,
yeah,
you're just
the
changing,
opinions
you're just
and
changing the
personalities
players and the
aside.
attitudes. You're just changing the players and the attitudes, putting people in there that is gonna fight for you rather than against you. So therefore, you're just
Why
flipping
should
it.
it be a
representing the people.
You know, it should, and I agree,
Not at all.
if we could get neutral people to represent it and be on the board, not a problem. But
Are
my
you
problem
saying the
is if the
commission's not
board
able
sets
to
it
do
up to put people in there that has the intentions to do exactly, you know, what I feel is happening, which is to disband our agency, then,
No, I
you
don't think so at
know,
all.
we have a problem. I think it should be
They're trying to
neutral
cut through
people if
some
we're going to
obstacles.
do it.
I think they're trying to cut through some obstacles, and I think that the best thing is to, you know, again, like I say, the personalities, the conflicts or whatever. Again, we talk about their agendas, but I don't think their agenda is to get rid of the DCAA. I think their agenda is to be able to work with a board that, you know, will, you know, communicate and not create some of the obstacles. I'm still waiting for answers on the budget from 2 years ago. So I'm just saying that things, the best way when you have something this screwed up is to just start from scratch with a new board, and then, you know, establish the commission the same way they voted before, who they think they're gonna, you know, select people, and I trust their judgment to come up with new people so that we get rid of all those prior conflicts. That's all.
May I ask Mr. Fine, I understand that, you know, you're defending your current bosses.
Yes.
Okay. But do you object to reporting directly to the county commissioners?
No, I spoke to Ralph about that, because at one point there were some conflicts, and Ralph and I spoke, and I said, you know, I had no trouble coming in and talking to the commissioners. But, you know.
Now, that's in talking. Do you object to reporting directly in that?
No, I have no problem reporting to them, and I could report to both. I don't have a problem with that.
I mean, they would be your bosses.
They are my bosses.
I mean, on a day-to-day basis.
They are. They can fire me right now. They're my boss.
So that's not the reason, it's that you prefer working with the people you're currently working with.
I have a working relationship with my board,
Okay.
and
They don't have any.
and I agree that, you know, there is some frustration between my board, some of the members, not all of them, some of the members, and some of the members of the commission, not all the commissioners. There's conflicts on both sides, as I've talked about before. And a lot of it comes off of what's happened in the past. And we can't change the past. All we can do is move forward. And I feel that, working through this would be a better aspect rather than totally dissolving the board.
Okay.
It'll be interesting to see who the board members are.
If this happens.
Yes.
All right, can we move on now? Motion is on the floor. Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Nay.
Nay.
I break the tie. I vote with Greg. Aye. Sheriff,
Yes.
if you escort Mr. Flynn to DCAA headquarters, please,
Okay.
and get the combination to the locks and write them down for us and keep them in safekeeping. And Sheriff, will you take a complete inventory of all things that they have in their office, vehicles? Don't go through all the drugs in the ambulance, just give us a report and keep that in file at your office for the commission. Thank you, sir. Well, that takes care of it. Now we have Will.
Well, they made the decision. Yeah.